Hello there, I'm Lorne Riseley. It's hotter than Gal Gadot today. And this is Defunct Games news, the online glass gaming bastion of gaming goodness. And now with 10% less sugar. Let's get ready for the bongs on this week's episode. It seems Mixer will be missed as Mixer is closed after Microsoft switches to Facebook gaming. Crash takes his time as a brand new Crash Bandicoot game is announced. And other highlights to come include Rocksteady working on a Suicide Squad game. And of course the challenge of the week, because again, what's life without some abject horribleness to kick off the weekend? So I suppose we better open with the challenge then. Jeff, it's empty. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, the bosses said you could have a week off with the challenges this week.
Oh, okay. No challenge this week. Awesome. Well then, I suppose we better just get on with the news. So coming up first, Mixer is set to close. Reported by multiple outlets originally and then announced officially on Monday, Microsoft will be shutting down its struggling video game live streaming platform Mixer on the 22nd of July and instead partnering with Facebook Gaming. According to multiple reports, Facebook Gaming has grown exponentially over the last 12 months. Unfortunately, those figures come from Facebook themselves. But hey, when can you never not trust Facebook when it comes to personal or private information, huh? Anyways, existing Mixer pages will be turned into Facebook Gaming pages, but it's debatable if that will translate into similar sizes of platforms for the respective creators. Just ask anyone who used to have a Vine account. The initial reaction of the Mixer community was one of utter shock and disbelief, with no prior warning given and only 30 days to pack up their proverbial shit and make the switch to Facebook Gaming. In an interview with head of Microsoft Gaming, Phil Spencer, he acknowledged that the company, quote, started pretty far behind in terms of where Mixer's monthly active viewers were compared to some of the big players out there. And he went on to explain that the decision to partner with Facebook Gaming was in large part a matter of scale, and in no way related to the massive levels of investment given to big name streamers like, I don't know, Ninja and Shroud, who were brought in specifically for the purpose of bumping up the exposure and the popularity of the fledgling platform. And fun fact, they get to keep all the money from those contracts, even though they were signed less than a year ago. Couldn't have happened to nicer chaps. I think we can all agree on that, especially when you consider that small to medium streamers get absolutely no compensation for the inconvenience of having propped up this failing platform for so long, and will likely get nothing in terms of compensation when they move to Facebook Gaming. And again, Ninja gets to keep all that money for doing exactly the opposite of what he was paid to do originally. Oh God, what a guy. For those unfamiliar, Mixer initially launched under the name Beam in 2016 and was later acquired by Microsoft, who rebranded the platform with its current moniker the following year. And it serves as a platform for gamers to produce content on a live stream basis, normally for the most popular titles of the day. And it aimed to go head to head with Twitch and other popular live streaming platforms, offering space for people in what was otherwise an extremely crowded online space. According to Microsoft, it did everything it could to boost the popularity of Mixer, including the aforementioned signing up of hugely popular Fortnite streamer and all-around great human being Tyler Ninja Blevins to Mixer exclusive contracts in 2019, which again we can all agree was cracking value for money despite perpetually struggling against its main competition from Twitch, YouTube, Microsoft's new bunk buddy Facebook, and in no way being part of its downfall due to financial implications and, you know, just $30 million of nothingness being given in return. Damn thing. We are in no way pointing the finger at Ninja. We are not saying it's his fault. Stop thinking it's his fault. We can't prove it's his fault. All we can do is say that he was involved and he walks away scot-free with all the money. We're not making that comparison. You're making that comparison and you're wrong for making it. But less than a year later, Microsoft are $20 to $30 million down alone with Ninja's contract, and all of the content creators that stand to be basically out of pocket and out of a job left high and dry. So again, winners all round, I guess. Mixer will officially cease operations next month, and Mixer partners and streamers will begin the transition to Facebook Gaming starting this week. Meanwhile, the real question is Just how will Ninja cope now he has nothing to do but count all the money Microsoft paid him to tank Mixer? I mean, sorry, improve the popularity of the brand. Again, in no way insinuating he is the reason that he imploded Mixer. In no way implying that. No way. Certain enough to get out of the lawsuit, Tim? Perfect. And now we come to the newest segment of Remember This. Yes, I got it wrong last week, Marks, thanks for reminding me. Anyway, Remember This, we look back on some fun memes of the week. And this week, considering that The Last of Us released and was originally panned, even though it hadn't even released when it was panned originally, has come out to reasonably good fanfare and critical acclaim, so I thought we'd look at some fun memes. Starting with number one here, which really hits home for me because I've never played The Last of Us because I have an Xbox, not a PlayStation. Oh, shut up, I played Bioshock Infinite, and that's basically the same gimmick, right? The second meme here will only be proven right with time, I imagine, considering Cyberpunk continues to delay itself, but keeps promising more and more of the world. But you have to think that considering that Cyberpunk is announced now for a Netflix series, but it's still, the delay date doesn't seem any more feasible that it's coming, you gotta wonder if maybe Elder Scrolls is gonna pip them to the punch at this point. The third meme, well, Sony have won this generation without question, so it stands to reason that if they start off the generation hot, why wouldn't they finish it hot with a game that everyone was looking forward to and seems to have lived up to expectations? The fourth one hits a little bit too close to home for me because I remember being 14, in fact 16, and well, looking like this. Don't worry everybody, I got over my acne and I did eventually lose my virginity. I mean, it's growing back, but at least I can't blame it on my acne anymore, just my crippling self-doubt and horrible personality. And the fifth meme here, well, because frankly, if the idea of a bi, gay, transgender, black, Chinese, female protagonist or character in a game offends you, then frankly, you can f*** off, because I'm game for any type of character so long as it leads to a compelling and interesting story, irrespective of the creed, color, gender, nature, sexual orientation of the character in question, because that doesn't hinder their ability to tell stories. And if that's still a problem for you, again, I refer you to my earlier instruction to f*** the hell off. Had to skip out on the air conditioning this week, didn't we? Anyway, let's take a trip down memory lane for me now, because we're going to do something that I haven't done since I was 10 or 12. We're going to talk about some Crash Bandicoot news, people. Yes, it's been officially announced that we will be seeing Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. The fourth official installment in the series and the first official Crash Bandicoot game in a freaking decade. Developer of the upcoming installment, Toys for Bob, said the game is set after the end of the original Naughty Dog developed Crash trilogy, when Neo Cortex, Dr. Entropy, and Uka Uka were stranded on a distant planet, but have yet again, in classic Looney Tunes fashion, managed to escape to fight another day. And it will feature playable characters Crash and Coco, who you can choose between playing at any time, albeit they share Crash's moveset. Not to mention, Big Bad Neo Cortex is going to be a playable character as well. He uses his inventions and a ray gun which has the ability to transmogrify hazards and enemies and turn them into platforms, a static solid platform or a bouncy platform that gives him access to higher levels. That last one is a doozy, considering that it'll be the first time in the series that an antagonist will be playable, which kind of sucks. I always wanted to play as Tiny the Tiger because, I mean, he just looks badass, don't you agree? The game will also feature 4 quantum masks scattered across the universe, with 2 currently known masks being the time and gravity masks. The time mask grants the ability to slow down time to a crawl, and the gravity mask allows players to have happy ending. Todd, that is so immature. That's not even funny. Why would you do that? Just put the teleprompter back the way it was, please. Thank you. Now, the gravity mask allows you to flip gravitational pull so that you can walk on the ceiling, for instance. According to the developer, they're excited to introduce a fresh visual direction for Crash that maintains the zany spirit of the franchise while also breathing unique personality and charm into it. Fans can expect wacky new worlds, lush, epic vistas, and an absurd variety of enemies and hazards. But what it seems to have skipped over is that it will be ignoring pretty much all of the lore set out in the PS2 generation of games and picking up fresh as referenced in the trailer itself when one character turns to Crash and says, "Haven't you beaten this guy more times?" And Crash says, "No, 3.
How many times have you beaten this clown anyway?
3.
Really? Only 3? Funny. Seemed like more.
That, sir, is an investigated fabrication.
And for those unfamiliar, Crash Bandicoot is a franchise of platform video games originally created by Andy Gavin and Jason Rubin during their tenure at Naughty Dog for Universal Interactive Studios, and published by Sony Computer Entertainment back in the days when it was not unfair to say that Crash was firmly a Sony mascot. But now that the series appears on multiple platforms and has gone through various developers, not to mention spawning other games and other genres, Sony don't get to call dibs anymore. Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time is due out on the 2nd of October 2020 on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but while PC and Nintendo Switch aren't mentioned, given the number of games available on crossplay now, it's fair to assume you may hear more about those in the weeks and months to follow. Now, I'm not saying I'm a Crash Bandicoot fanboy. Crash Bandicoot, Crash Bandicoot, Crash Bandicoot, Crash Bandicoot. Wow. But god damn if it isn't good to see another Crash Bandicoot game in the franchise, considering that back in the days of the original PlayStation 1, if I wasn't playing Tekken 3 and smashing people to pieces, I was playing Crash Bandicoot 2, taking life turns with my little brother playing the game. Some of my most fondest gaming memories, Crash Bandicoot 2 in the platforming levels, especially the snow ones. Do you remember the snow ones with the little bear? Oh, so good. And hey, if this game needs more exposure to get it, over the line in October, I hear Ninja's not doing anything. I'm sure he'll be free to plug it for a nominal upfront fee. And finally this week we take a look at some of the some fun stories that we're going to look at quickly because two stories isn't enough. I have to have more than 2 stories. Yeah, those deadlines just don't mean a thing to the publishers. Anyway, let's get on to our first story, shall we? Rocksteady is reportedly developing a new Suicide Squad game. A new report claims that the Batman Arkham studio Rocksteady is indeed the developer behind the Suicide Squad game mentioned in recent rumoured domain name registrations. According to Eurogamer, the London studio has been working on the project for years, and the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League domain is potentially the game's full title, as well as a decent approximation of its plot. Eurogamer also says that the domains were registered by WB Interactive, that Gotham Knights does refer to WB Montreal's long-rumoured Batman Court of Owls game, and that both games will be shown in some respect at the DC Fandom event. Which is great news for Rocksteady Studios, who, after 3 successive Batman games, the last of which they got battered for considering the nature of the PC release, were pining for anything else to do, literally anything else to do apart from Batman, and so they got the Suicide Squad. Yeah, I'm sure they were really happy with that news. Still, beats the hell out of making a FIFA game every year, I suppose. Bad news for anyone older than the age of the carton of milk in my fridge. Counter-Strike is now old enough to drink in the United States of the United of Americas. Yes, indeed, the second time in 2 weeks we have a bonza birthday for you. On June the 19th, 1999, Min Lee and Jess Cliff released a mod for the original Half-Life game called Counter-Strike. You may have heard of it. And now in 2020, 21 years later, it's still one of the most popular video games in the world, and proof positive that when devs are free to just get on with creating something fun and endearing, they can hit it out of the park. And finally, Poland is the first country in the world to announce a game is officially on its reading list for students. ISFE member Spydor, representing the video games industry in Poland, has announced that from the next academic year in 2020 to 2021, the video game This War of Mine will be placed on the official reading list for high school students in Poland and made available free to support the learning and teaching of sociology, ethics, philosophy, and history. The game This War of Mine, developed by Warsaw-based 11-bit studios, is inspired by the conflicts in the Balkans, and the player is forced to make moral choices in order to get food, medicine, and shelter. The title has been praised by the Washington Post, Die Welt, and The Guardian, and other prestigious media around the world. I don't want to say that gaming can fix the world, but I'm saying it's going to get damn close. Now, if only we could get Ninja to represent gaming to the world somehow, then we'd have a absolute guarantee, no chance of failure plan of saving the world through gaming, right?
Hey, I doubt it!
Okay.
Well, that's been the happenings of the week. My name's been Lorne Riseley, telling you that with huge hands comes an even bigger penis. No reason I'm saying that, just throwing that out there. No way referencing a previous comment and trying to defend myself and my freakishly large hands from criticism.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
Anyway, please remember to check out the Discord, where we're having lots of fun over there. Be sure to check out some of the other content that Cyril's churning out this week. He's got reviews, he's going to have other stuff, fun planned that he got funding for, and you know, it's fine, I can make do without funding. I've got Nigel and Paul here. And just one last little plea from me, okay guys? Just let's all stay on the lookout for opportunities for Ninja, okay? Out of all of the things that have happened this week, we all need to worry about him. We need to make sure he gets back on his feet, okay? Please, just take a moment out of your own lives and think about him for a second, okay? Money alone can't make you happy. $30 million or otherwise, okay? Just remember that. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this edition of the Defunct Games News. I've been your host, Lorne Riseley again. Please take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week, okay? Excuse me. Oh, God, damn thing gets in the way.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Defunct Games News. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that Lorne will be back next Sunday with a brand new episode. And you know what? I think I'm gonna have to show up too. Yeah, we can't let this flagrant disregard for the challenge of the week go unpunished. Now, here's the question I have for you. Have you ever watched anything on Mixer? Ugh, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure I have. Then again, I don't watch many streamers. Or really any. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow with the 99th episode of Game Over, the early years. If that sounds good to you, then I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.